It is another wonderful, crazy hot day here in Mississippi, and as you can tell, it is feeding time, but these rascals behind me have made an absolute mess. As you can hear, they know the sound, they know what time of day it is. So we're gonna go ahead and give them what they want. That way we can get up into the pasture and be able to kind of work freely today. And I prefer to go ahead and kind of feed them a little bit. That way they're not nibbling at my leg. I am trying something new today though. I'm working on a fermented feed method and basically taking half grain and half corn, and then I'm soaking it in about 5 gallons of water overnight, and then I'm bringing it out here and dumping it. I'm kind of trying that process a little bit to see if they like it. My first attempt didn't go over really well, so if you've got experience in that, make sure you leave me a comment down below on your success rate at doing fermented feeds. I've heard great things about it, being able to help their bellies out. It is a crazy hot day though, so let's get this day rolling. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dump the feed here off to the fence line, and then we're gonna be working kind of down the fence line over here and putting it back together because they have made a mess. We've got a problem. These guys are destructors. So we're gonna kind of talk about it today, why pigs might not be for you. We're gonna kind of go, oh no. There we go. It smells like beer. Now this is their normal feeding zone. You can see a lot of the different things coming in from corn to alfalfa and everything else. So this is where we normally feed. Their feed bins have been dragged over to here. I do have an empty spot down here where they're trying to get out. So I'm gonna actually take the water, take the food bins. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna block off that space so we don't have escaped pigs. I don't know if you've ever had to catch a loose, wet pig, but it is absolutely a terrible afternoon in Mississippi, especially when the heat index right now is in the triple digits. So let's kind of hop over and we're gonna get to work. Let's try to do this without giving myself a nut shot. Oh, oh, I'm not flexible. I'm not flexible. There we go. Sorry I dropped you. As you can see, they have made an absolute mess of everything. Let's get these where they need to be. Super expensive feed bins. Oh, they're getting absolutely ripped to shreds out here. So this is the spot I'm talking about. We potentially could escape up underneath that. It's very likely actually that they'll escape from up underneath that. So we can do something about that. So we're gonna drag all of these bins down here. We're gonna block this up. The weather gets like this, I get why they build these wallows out here. They've been really good this year on not creating those wallows. You know, they've overall, since they've had access to the whole pasture, been really good. When that heat spiked up to about 109 degrees though, I get it. I'm not even mad about it. They've been really good this year. They got one up here at the front, and then these two right here. And then I'm gonna walk around in a minute back here and kind of see what we got. Let's go hunt down this water. Our water is gross. We keep filling it up, but they keep flipping it over, getting it down here and creating this wallow. Oh, it's like suction cupped in there. Ugh. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations. This is sketchy. Here we go. Hiya! Hiya! The big boy hop. Let's get these puppies some clean water. It's not gonna get perfect because there's nothing but mud out here. We're gonna do the best we can though. I get a pressure washer out here to this thing. By the way, we do this like every weekend. So as you see all this muddy and nastiness, please know, I do this often. This kind of goes into the point of the video. Why pigs make you lose your religion. You know, why are pigs so frustrating? Why are pigs maybe not for you? The first part is this right here. Pigs are gross. Like, I love them to death. They're fun. They're like pets. But pigs have just a certain way of making a mess of things. I'm going to clean all of this and do all of this mess and restack their food back in these bins. I'm going to tie it off, so hopefully they'll stop, you know, taking off with food and knocking. What they'll do is they'll knock this over. Every time I fill the bins up, they knock them over, eat all of their like 4 or 5 days worth of food. They'll eat it in one day. So it's very frustrating when you're working with an animal that is just on a path level of destruction all the time. They're big, they're a low center of gravity. Just their natural tendencies, though, is just to kind of make a mess. I've had Kune Kunes pigs before, and they're a lot easier to deal with than these feeder pigs. These are Berkshires, and I got some Idaho Pastured Hogs or Guinea Hogs out here. You know, this is what they do. They just make destruction. And so you got to be prepared for that destruction. You've also got to be prepared for the smell. The smell is awful. It's kind of nasty. There's mud everywhere. It's just not always fun. Number 2 reason why pigs might not be for you is just the sheer amount of feed that they need per day. Now, you can change that up by putting them out here on pasture. It definitely helps having them out here on pasture, and it takes a lot of the pressure off. However, it is still a lot of feed. I'm buying about $150 of feed to last me 2 weeks. So over the course of 6 months, that's quite a bit of money. So you've got to be prepared for that feed. You get the cute little piglet. It's, you know, 25 pounds max, and it's looking adorable, and it lets you pet them, and it seems great until they get this size, and you've got to keep food coming at them. The more food that they don't have, and they're not recognizing this area as home, it's a lot more difficult when they escape to get them back in. Because all I got to do right now is shake that feed bucket, and I can walk them all the way to the butcher. But if they lose that training of feed time and keeping feed in front of them, they'll break through. But they've got to have food in front of them. They got to constantly be eating. And you could probably, I know a lot of farmers, they just put them on concrete slabs, lay down hay, and then just feed them as fast as possible to get them done. And as far as like this mess goes, it probably is easier to just put them on a concrete slab, and they can't do all this. My thing is, though, is I want a pasture flavor. I'm a chef. I'm after the best flavor possible for these pigs. And so for me, I believe that's being as natural and letting them be as natural as possible, and letting a pig be a pig. The next reason pigs might not be for you is just their sheer intelligence. They are more similar to a dog than they are a goat or a lamb. They have just such a high intelligence, and once they figure something else, they constantly go back to it. So for instance, here we have our swing gate. Our swing gate is just simply sitting on these little bolts. So these pigs have learned that they can put their head up underneath and lift it up, and they were able to completely lift the gate up off of the hinges and basically walk right out. We had to do a lot of work to catch these pigs and get them back inside of this pen. But you got to understand, once they learn it, they come right back to it. So we left thinking it was just a one-off. We came back, and they were right back at it. They were very, very quick to just literally lift their nose in, lift it right up off the gate, and they were up and over and into the garden like that. So you've got to understand their intelligence level and what their tendencies are. If they figure out something one time, they're going to keep coming back for it. So you got to constantly be thinking ahead of them. If you're thinking behind, they're going to constantly be getting out. Just like what we're doing over here with the water. I'm recognizing that they're eating away out of this fence line. So I got to work ahead of them to kind of create a barrier to prevent them from being able to do that. And lastly, and most important when it comes to these pigs that most people don't understand, and that will make you absolutely lose your mind out here, is understanding how much infrastructure that these pigs need. They need firm infrastructure. I mean, this fence line was solid when they first got in here, and they have just absolutely torn it up. I mean, they have pressed on it, done everything they can to push it back and get the vegetation that's back behind it. I'm putting hog panels in front to keep them in, but they require a very firm infrastructure that goes around. And that infrastructure is expensive at first, but the good news is once you've got it pretty much locked in. So you're able to really invest one time in each of these items, and then hopefully, if you've done it right, you're not having to buy every year, every time you're bringing in feeder pigs, having to completely reinvent the wheel. It's all about, doing it right the first time and just kind of developing off of that. Hey, I hope this helps. I absolutely love having pigs on the homestead. We've got these 4 Berkshires and 2 Guinea Hogs out here. I've got 6 Kune Kunes piglets over here in the barn, and I love having them. There's lots of things that I kind of wish I knew going into it, and some of it's just about learning from experience. But I hope this helps. Again, I think having pigs are an absolute joy on the farm. They've done such a great job of rebuilding this pasture and bringing life back to this pasture. Let me turn around and just show you the life that's come back into this pasture and how beautiful it looks. This was just like thickets and just rough. And now look at it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I think it's amazing that God created a creature that naturally does what we need on the farms. Too often we're very quick to get a tractor, and I'll be the first one to admit that I want the massive John Deere Kabuto tractor to help me do a lot of these projects around. But God also created lots of animals that could do a lot of these projects for us. Retilling all this up, throwing fresh seed down, and doing all that work would have been tens of thousands of dollars. Yet I've got 6 piglets in here that have turned this into an absolutely beautiful, lush landscape that's multi-diverse because of the feed that we've been giving them, that they take out and they poop it out here in the field, and they root things up and turn the soil over, and it creates this amazing diverse landscape. If you could do me a huge favor though and share this video, it just absolutely helps the channel out. Every single share, subscribe, like, it just helps us get the message out. It helps people learn more about the homesteading, and ultimately it allows us to do more here on the homestead, because that is my dream. If I had to be 100% honest with you, I love being on the homestead, and I like to be a chef who's just here on the homestead. And every share, every subscription, all of that allows us to be more here and kind of puts us that one step closer. Though it's a tiny notch, but every little tiny notch is what gets us to our goals, right? And I'm just passionate about being here. I love being on my homestead. I want to be here more. I'd love for this to be my full-time job. So if you haven't had the chance yet, make sure you hit the subscribe, you hit the like, and we're going to see you next time here on Homesteading Chef. Come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations. Ooh, I just sunk. That did not feel good. I feel like every redneck in the universe is out here trying to disrupt my video. It's all good. I love me some 4-wheelers, some dirt bikes, but I'm trying to